You know, that should have scared the crap out of you.
What is that?
I don't know.
The rifle.
Come here, baby. 911. Oh, please help us. Somebody just shot my son, and we think he's dead. My 5-year-old son got shot. Who shot him? There's somebody down there for no reason out in our pond, down outside of our house. You don't know who did it? My dad. No, my dad. He took him down to the pond to go fishing, and somebody shot him twice. Okay, I'm going to keep you on the line, okay, ma'am? Oh, please, don't worry.
On August 3rd, 2007, at approximately 7:42, our little boy Austin Gabriel Haley was shot. Later that evening, the police chief had come to the hospital and told us that it might have been one of his officers that shot. And he had told us that the officer was shooting at a snake that was stuck in a birdhouse.
And these police officers, they could have made a different decision not to shoot. And that was just the worst decision they possibly could have made. They were even joking and laughing about it before they shot. And now we're having to live without our son.
5-year-old Austin Haley lost his life when struck by a bullet fired by a police officer some 500 feet away. This was a tragic accident. Austin Haley died because deadly force was used when deadly force wasn't necessary. In this circumstance, the officer failed to consider other less deadly options for removing the non-venomous snake from the birdhouse. Rakes and other implements were close by. The snake was not a threat to the residents and could have been left alone to remove itself from the birdhouse. The officer also failed to consider what was behind his target. Although it looked like woods behind the residence, he couldn't see beyond the grove of trees to determine where a bullet might travel. The officer fired from a kneeling position, shooting at an upward angle. A little boy at a pond, fishing with his grandfather and his little brother, was in the line of fire. Had the officer shot at a downward angle, the stray bullet would have gone safely into the ground.
My little boy was behind the target of that snake. That was my little boy. Whenever you look at a target, please make sure you know what is behind that target before you shoot the gun.
In another incident, police officers removed a confiscated fully automatic weapon from the evidence room. None of the officers had any experience or training with this type of weapon. They took it to the police pistol range and took turns firing it at a berm. Shortly after, a shooting was reported at an auto dealership almost a mile away. A man had been hit in the abdomen by a bullet. Later investigation determined that the auto dealership and a municipal airport landing strip were in a direct line with the shooting range. It was discovered at the range that grass and weeds had grown almost 4 feet high at the top of the berm, giving the illusion that the berm was taller than it was. The officers believed they were shooting safely into the berm, but in fact they were shooting over the top, and one of their bullets hit a citizen nearly a mile away. These recent cases suggest that police should give serious consideration to establishing quality training in regards to firearm deployment and non-emergency shooting situations.
Okay, I've been given a firearm and a badge, and I've got all of these decisions that I'm responsible for. But ultimately, your decision to use that firearm is your responsibility. It's not inconceivable that a person could be hired in this state and actually be issued the gear and all the specific tools to perform the actions of a police officer, and then not have the luxury of going and receiving their basic CLEAT Academy for up to 6 months. It's very crucial for an officer to be exposed to firearms training and some use of force training options before they just report to field duty. There's 3 different times in which an officer is going to deploy their weapon or their firearm. One, obviously, is on the range, and the officer has the luxury of the mere design of the range. When they're shooting a qualification match, they obviously have the berm behind them. The second The second time in which they would use their weapon would be in an emergency shoot situation, and obviously there's all kinds of dynamics that go into that. The other time is a non-emergency shoot situation. The primary responsibility of a police officer, regardless of his assignment, whether he works patrol, SWAT, or criminal investigation division, is the same for every department, and that's public safety. He needs to constantly think, my actions of discharging my weapon, are they going to create a greater hazard to public safety than taking no action at all? If you've got to discharge one of your weapons, you're going to constantly assess your backdrop, make sure that it's safe to discharge the weapon, that it doesn't create a greater hazard to your surroundings or the public in general. And we just believe that if it's truly a non-emergency shoot situation, that we control that scene, and obviously we can position ourselves to dispatch that animal, that injured animal, at an angle at which the muzzle is going down.
Through classroom instruction, video simulations, and range training, CLEAT instructs officers in the use of deadly force and less than lethal force options. During the Basic Academy, however, CLEAT curriculum does not address the use of firearms in non-emergency situations. Are there circumstances in which, after the officer has assessed the situation, he may de-escalate and consider utilizing other options besides his firearm? Is there a more appropriate response?
We've got all kinds of uses of force available that we wear on our hips, not just our sidearm. I would want everybody to stay in the mindset that just as quick as you can go up that force continuum, there are steps that might be successful that will afford you the opportunity to work your way back down that.
Many law enforcement professionals share the same nightmare, shooting an innocent person. No one in law enforcement wants to endure the physical and emotional torture of learning that they have made a mistake and shot someone in error. Police trainers and managers must recognize the need for further training regarding these non-emergency responses. Police managers must institute a policy limiting field work to only officers who have successfully passed firearms qualifications and use of force training. OMAG can assist law enforcement agencies with policy development and training regarding use of force and other liability issues. Prevention through training is the best solution.
Police officers, you have got to think about the times when you need to shoot and when you don't need to shoot. Please make the right decision in this situation.